I hear what you're asking. Let's slow it down and look at what the Bible actually says, not what people claim it says. The idea that Job lost everything because of sin is a misreading of the story in Book of Job. What the text clearly says, right at the beginning, Scripture goes out of its way to say the opposite. Job is described as blameless and upright, someone who feared God and turned away from evil. God himself says this about Job before anything bad happens. So if someone says Job sinned and that's why he lost everything, that contradicts the opening facts of the book. Why Job actually suffered Job's losses happened because Satan challenges Job's integrity, claiming Job only serves God because his life is blessed. God allows a test, not a punishment. This means suffering, punishment, loss, proof of sin. Hard seasons are not always discipline. Where the confusion comes from, Job's friends argue exactly what you're hearing. Open quote, "You must have sinned. God doesn't do this to innocent people." Close quote. And here's the key part many people miss. God rebukes Job's friends at the end and says they spoke wrongly about him. That's huge. The real message of Job: God is sovereign even when life makes no sense. Righteous people can suffer deeply. It's wrong to blame someone's hardship on hidden sin. Faith isn't transactional, good behavior, a good life. So is it a lie? Yes. Saying Job lost everything because of sin is false according to Scripture. It's the same error Job's friends made, and God explicitly corrected them. If you want, I can also break down why people still push this belief today, how Job applies to modern hardship, jobs, homelessness, rejection, or how Jesus directly corrects this thinking in the Gospels. Just tell me where you want to go next. Good question, and it's an important one. Let's talk about humans honestly and biblically without the guilt tripping. Are human hardships always because of sin? No. The Bible is very clear that not all suffering is caused by personal sin. In Book of Job, Job is human and righteous, yet he still loses everything. That already tells us suffering are sin. What Jesus says about this, people tried to do the same thing in Jesus' time. Blame hardship on sin. In the Gospel of John, chapter 9, the disciples asked Jesus about a man born blind. Open quote, "Who sinned, this man or his parents?" Close quote. Jesus shuts that idea down immediately. Open quote, "Neither." Close quote. That's huge. Jesus is saying some suffering is not caused by anyone's sin. God is not running a punishment spreadsheet. So what does cause human suffering? The Bible shows several reasons, not just one. One, a broken world. We live in a fallen system. Injustice, poverty, sickness, bad economies, broken institutions that affects good people and bad people alike. Two, other people's choices. Someone else's sin, greed, abuse, neglect, corruption can hurt innocent people. Three, spiritual testing or growth like Job. Not punishment, but refinement, exposure of truth or endurance. Four, natural consequences. Yes, sometimes actions have consequences, but that's not the same as God targeting someone. What the Bible does not teach. The Bible does not teach if you're poor, you sinned. If you're rejected, God is mad. If you're struggling, you lack faith. If you're homeless or unemployed, it's your fault spiritually. That thinking is actually closer to Job's friends, not God. God's posture toward humans in suffering. Throughout Scripture, God defends the poor, draws near to the broken, gets angry at people who exploit or judge the vulnerable, calls compassion righteousness. Blaming suffering humans for their hardship is something God rebukes, not rewards. Bottom line, human sin, yes, but human suffering is not automatic proof of sin, and using God to shame people in pain is biblically wrong. If you want, we can talk about why churches still push this narrative, how to protect your faith from shame theology, what God says specifically about poverty and work, or how this applies to your situation without judgment. I'm here with you.